The champ is here. The champ is here.
There it is.
My name goes on the trophy, baby.
His name will go right there.
Right there, next to Bobby Lights 3 times. So let's go. Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome back to this episode of Bets and Buds. We're at Week 18, the last regular season game of the season here. Regular season week 18 here.
Yes.
I can't believe how fast this shit has gone, brother.
Disappointing.
Oh, it is. It is. But you know what? You see this trophy here? That means it stayed in-house, Bobby.
It did stay in-house.
It stayed in the Bets and Buds family.
I mean, it was staying with one of us.
It stayed in the Bets and Buds family.
Jason and Director Dave met up in the finals, and Jason pulled it off.
Oh, my God. Thank God for Brock Purdy getting hurt. Thank God for Brock Purdy getting hurt. Because, oh, man, I was telling one of my buddies today, I was like, I don't know if I could have came back from a loss like that. If I had came back from that type of comeback victory, I don't know if I could have handled that.
Yeah, because you had like 50 points.
It was like 60 points at one point, and he just kept creeping and kept creeping and kept creeping.
I wouldn't look at Dobbins where he got 7 points.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it was the defense that hurt Dave. He scored there. He played a defense that got -2 points.
-2 points. That saved us. That saved me big time. So Zach Ertz play almost paid off because he played Zach Ertz over T.J. Hockenson, so that almost paid off. That was a big move. So, you know what?
And Purdy over Darnold.
Yeah, Purdy over Darnold, too, as well, who had his career night of passing. But either way, the champ is here. The champ is here.
There it is.
My name goes on the trophy, baby.
His name will go right there.
Right there, next to Bobby Lights 3 times. So let's go. All right, so we got a lot of action to dive into. We missed last week, the holidays and stuff going on, a busy time of the season.
Hope everybody had a good Christmas.
Yeah, hope everybody had a good Christmas, Happy New Year, all that fun times and everything. So we're going to dive into this action here, Bobby. I know we got the Blues had their hockey classic last night.
Yes, they did. They beat Chicago 6-2. It was, if you watched the game, it was strange to watch it on TV. I was just talking to Director Dave right there. No fans that you could see along the boards, and the ice being a different color. And I just think the uniforms, being the cream and Chicago's not normal uniform, but it just kind of threw me off a little bit. Yeah. It looked strange.
Yeah, I didn't see much. I had a lot of New Year's festivities going on. So.
But the Blues are looking good. So the bottom line here is, in 17 games since Montgomery's taken over, they've got a point percentage of 61%. Before Bannister, or with Bannister, it was 44. Right. So that's all you need to know. They're playing better hockey.
They're on the uptick.
They're 3 points out of a playoff spot right now. Got a couple of big games coming up on Friday and Saturday. So, they'll be at the halfway point after these next 2 games. They'll have played 41 games.
Let's go Blues. All right, so then next up we have the college football playoff is in full swing and full tilt right now. I hope that in the future seasons here that they kind of get the seeding down a little bit better. I really don't feel like Ohio State and Oregon should be in a game right now.
Probably not.
That was a very big misjustice to Oregon. So Oregon's the number 1 seed. They had to go and play Ohio State at the Rose Bowl. Ohio State is now right now in firm command. I think last time I saw it was 17-0.
Oh, 17. I had seen 14.
Yeah, it was 17-0 last I saw there. We had a big win from Texas in the double overtime against Arizona State. Boise State got handled by Penn State yesterday. They were just overall, the talent disparity was a little bit too vast. I think for Boise State, they needed a lot of big plays to go in their favor, which they didn't have. So Penn State pulled through. So we've got an interesting final. So they're going to be coming up here as far as getting that down to the Final Four.
You'll have Penn State, Texas. I'm not sure where they'll seed. Are they going to regroup?
I don't think they're regrouping. It's just a side. So I think it's so it'll be Texas and whoever the winner between Notre Dame and Georgia. I believe. Okay. I believe that's going to be the matchup. I believe. I don't have the bracket in front of me, but it's an exciting little first year we're doing the 12-team playoff. Like I said, I think they really need to reseed a little bit next year and do it a little bit differently. But otherwise, I still take this over the voting things we had in the past, the top 4,
BCS,
and all about BCS and all that type of shit.
Computer programs,
and then within 2 years they're going to be up to 14 teams, and we'll just kind of have a real. And we're just going to slowly creep to. At some point, it'll be a 16-team playoff. I think that should be the best outlook right now.
So no buys and anything like that.
Yeah, so I played at the FCS level where they had a 16-team playoff for the longest time, and they've actually moved up to I think it's a 24-team playoff now in the FCS level. Yeah. So what you know is like everybody has to be a winner now. Like it's just like high school football, everybody makes the playoffs and shit. Where back in the day, if you had one loss in your last 3 games, you could have been 9-0 and not gotten the playoffs. So it's just everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner. So all right, let's dive into this football slate here,
this
man.
Week 18. I mean,
it kind of sucks.
Because it's week 18. A lot of teams not fighting for much. Only a couple of games really mean.
Yes, there's really like legitimately maybe like three games that actually matter. They say it's 11 games that actually matter. Like that's what I heard earlier today.
Right.
But really, when you look at it on paper, there's really only 3 games that truly actually matter.
Drastic movement.
Yes, for drastic movement under the playoff seeding position. So, all right, we got the Browns and the Ravens. That's kicking off the schedule with a 17.5 point
this
spread.
one surprises me. I mean, I get it that the Browns are that bad, but damn, that's almost disrespectful.
Well, I know the Ravens have to win. I think they're just to shore up them winning the division. I think they have to win
to win the division.
Because if Pittsburgh does end up beating Cincinnati, Ravens lose against the Browns, and they're obviously there's going to be that tie, and then eventually I think that's how because I think they split those games, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, they split those games, so there's a chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers could still be the division winners. But 17.5 points is a shit ton of points, man.
That's a lot.
The Browns won this matchup early in the season, but that was with famous Jameis. I think they're going back to DTR again. I think
probably.
Which I don't know how.
That's probably why it's 17.
Yeah, that's probably why it's 17.5 points, honestly. But I mean, at the end of the day, Browns are pretty much going for draft position. See what they're going to do. Get out of this Deshaun Watson mess. I like the Browns to cover that 17.5 points just because I can't take that. As a gambler, personally, I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot
but I'll
pole.
take the 17.
But I would take the 17.5 points. I think the Ravens are going to win. I like the over/under. I got it at 41.5.
Yes, I like the over as well, and obviously Baltimore to win.
Yes. All right, so next up we got the Bengals at the Steelers, which could potentially be the game of the week. They actually got a couple good matchups here. This one is one that actually has some playoff indications.
Yes, because Cincinnati has to get the win here to even have a chance.
Yes, and they need the Dolphins and the Broncos to lose.
To both lose,
yes. They need both to lose. So I like the Bengals to actually win this game. They're 1.5 point favorites going into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's offense looks like they've been struggling a lot still. Joe Burrow has had an amazing season.
He has, and with Cincinnati fighting for their lives here, I expect them to go into Pittsburgh and win too.
Yes, I do too as well.
But I like the under in this.
You like the under? I actually like the over because the last time these two teams played, they scored 75 points, over 75 points. So I like this. I actually like the over in this one, just because I feel like it's going to be a Joe Burrow. I'm going to sling and wing and get this thing going.
We've got some wicked temperatures coming down.
Yeah.
Like starting Sunday night. Like it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold.
And I'm going to be in beautiful sunny Mexico.
Yes, this is Saturday, but it's going to be cold. Potential snow. Pittsburgh's always got potential snow.
Yeah, and both of these teams, both of them are used to it. These are the elements they live in, they play in, all that stuff. So, I don't think that's going to have as big of a factor. Obviously scoring wise, yes, because it's going to affect the kicking game, it's going to affect some of the passing, the offense, and all that, and so on. All right, so I think we're pretty much in agreement on that, except for the over/under.
Yep, just the over/under.
All right, so next up we got the Panthers at the Falcons. All right, the Panthers got their ass kicked last week by the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield was my MVP. He lit it up with about 5 TDs and damn near 400 yards passing. He was a great pickup for. He was my second quarterback I drafted, actually. Baker's been playing amazing, but that's neither here nor there in that one. The Panthers are 7.5 point dogs in this one, and going against Atlanta.
I've got 8.
Oh, you got 8? Okay, all right. So I got 7.5.
I'll take that 8 points, actually.
I'll take 7.5 for the Panthers, too, as well. Yeah, I think they're going to keep it a little bit closer. Michael Penix looks pretty good. I like what he looks like back there under center. But I think the Falcons will still win this game outright.
Yes.
Yeah. And I actually like the under of this one. It's another 48.5 points.
We're in agreement there. I've got 48, but I like the under as well.
Yes, I like the under on this one. All right, so next up we got the Commanders at the Cowboys. The Commanders who are in the playoffs again. I got 4.5 on the spread. What do you got on this?
That one cost me $100. Who thought Washington was going to be this good this quick? Damn it!
I've got futures bets. You got a little futures bets.
4.5. I've got 4.5 in this one. I think Washington covers that 4.5. They win the game ultimately, and give me the under the 44. Dallas looked awful against the Eagles last week.
See, you know what? I got the over on 44.5, not because of Dallas, but more because of what I think Washington may do to Dallas. I'm with you in total agreement. I think Washington's going to cover, win the game, And I just think it's going to be, if anything...
I mean, it could be like last week's game, 41-7.
Yeah, exactly. 38-14, anything along those lines in that range. I mean, because CeeDee Lamb's been shut down for the season. I mean, the Cowboys have pretty much packed it up and said, all right, we're done. They played hard under Mike McCarthy, so it'll be interesting to see what they do going into next year.
With Belichick off the market, I just don't see him pivoting to anything else better than McCarthy right now.
There really isn't. I mean, and sometimes, and as you see, like sometimes, so let's look at like three of the teams that fired their coaches during the season here. So you had Matt Eberflus.
Yep.
The Bears only got worse. Robert Saleh. Yeah. The Jets only got worse.
They got worse.
And even with Dennis Allen down in the Saints, they only got worse. Like when you fire your coach, that's a big overhaul change. People don't understand. It's like the NFL teams, they're companies. They are companies and they're organizations. And when you run these teams like that, if you fire the person that's at the top and as a head, you think you're going to bring in a new face that's going to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. That's
just
like
chaos.
That's like you at your job having a boss, and all of a sudden that boss leaves. You know how long that takes for that new boss to come in and implement his culture, implement what he wants.
Get the trust from the employees.
Figure out who he likes, to figure out how you feel about him as a new boss. I mean, there's so many things. It's the same thing when you're looking at an NFL team. And so many people look at it like it's like their high school team.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, like no, this is a business. And so it's a hard way to really come up that way. So I don't really see the Cowboys making a deep dive shift. I mean, I don't really see any coaching hire outside of Mike Vrabel.
No.
Mike Vrabel would be the only person I would say, you know what? If you want to bring Mike Vrabel, but can you see Mike Vrabel working for Jerry Jones? Hell no. Mike Vrabel would never work for Jerry Jones. There's no way in hell. I don't see that happening. So, with that being said, we'll see next year.
Right.
We'll see next year.
Go Cowboys.
Yep, go Cowboys. All right, so we got the Bears and the Packers. The Packers lost a tough one last week.
They did.
The Vikings kind of took it to them.
But the Bears are pathetic right now.
Yeah, the Bears are god-awful. They're 10.5-point dogs on the road. But with that being said, though, I think I like the Bears to cover this 10.5.
You like that? I've got 10 here.
You got 10?
I've got 10.
Yeah, I like the Bears to cover it. The Packers, I think, are obviously going to win the game. The over-under was at 41.5.
Okay.
With the weather indications going in, it could be pretty nasty up in Green Bay. But again, that's the only reason why I can see this end up being a blowout, because the Bears weren't built to play in this type of weather.
No.
Their team was not built to run. They can't run the ball. They can't pass protect. Their offensive line is in shambles. I mean, the team is in disarray.
They really don't have possession receivers.
Yeah, they got possession receivers, but they don't have the big play downfield because Caleb Williams hasn't got. I mean, there's just so many things that are disjointed with that organization right now. So, but I still think the Bears will cover just because it's 10.5. Sometimes I have a hard time going with that. I mean,
it's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. But I mean, again, I like that. But I said Packers to win. I like the over.
Okay, you like the over?
Yeah, I like the over.
I like the under. I think this one's like 30-0 Packers. I don't even think Chicago scores a touchdown in this one at all. I mean, they just lost the game 6-3. So.
Yeah. That was the most disgusting game. Jeez,
but yeah, Green Bay obviously to win.
Okay. All right, so next up we got the Texans at the Titans, the AFC South champion Texans.
This one, I mean, the Texans have looked terrible.
Oh, last week. That injury to Tank Dell.
And on top of the Diggs injury. And
that was a demoralizer. And them not having an offensive line to where they can't really use Joe Mixon to his fullest potential. Because
it's so bad they signed Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Cut by the Ravens.
Yeah.
After being traded from the Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't even matter. He fucking quit a game anyway. So
he did. He did quit the game.
He quit the game and wouldn't go in. So I'm not even going to mention his name. Who cares?
I still think the Texans ultimately win this game. Give me the under and to cover that. I've got 1. I
got 1.5. But I'm in a total agreement. I like them to cover, win the game, and I like the under. I had 38.5 on the under. Yeah. All right. So next up we got the Jaguars at the Colts. This is the Colts with an embarrassing performance last week
against the Giants.
The Giants, who hadn't scored over 30 points all season long, put up 45 against the Colts last week.
Drew Lock had the game of his career last week, and it probably just got him paid for the next 3 or 4 years.
That was an embarrassing. What is it with Mizzou quarterbacks? They somehow, some way make a living being backup. Yeah, there is backup QBU, man.
Backup
QBU, baby. Yep. You got Blaine Gabbert, Chase Daniel, who's the originator of fucking backup QBU. Drew Lock now. Backup QBU. Hey, you go to Mizzou, you're going to have a job with a clipboard.
Brady Cook, I mean, he's not doing it, but he'll never latch on anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Arm's not up.
Yeah, because I don't even see him getting drafted. So I mean, Chase Daniels didn't get drafted either. I don't think though. I think he was undrafted free agent.
He was an undrafted free agent,
but he had a 10-year. He spawned at like 12,
with the
13.
Saints, didn't he?
No, he went to the Saints after that. I think there was who was he with before? I know he was. I mean, he was with several teams. He was with the Chiefs. He was with the Saints. He was with. I mean, he had. I
thought he started with the Saints.
He might have
up
Drew Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees.
It might have been. He might have been. But I mean, he spawned a 12, 13-year career holding that clipboard. So back up QBU, go Mizzou. All right, but so this game historically has gone in Jacksonville's favor. Like for whatever reason,
it has.
The Colts cannot beat this team, and I don't know why. It doesn't matter where this game is played. It's in Indy. The Jaguars are 4.5-point favorites. I mean dogs. 4.5-point dogs. I have to go with history, and I'm going with the Jaguars to win this game. The Colts have showed no life, no juice whatsoever. So I like the Jaguars obviously to win outright, and give me the under at 45.5.
We're in total agreement on that one.
All right. So next up, we got the Bills at the Patriots. Bills don't really have much to play for.
The Bills have nothing to play for here. They've already come out and said Allen will probably have the first drive of the game, and then that's it. Yeah. Just to keep him warm.
Yeah, just got to keep him in rhythm of like his normal procedure.
But that being said, they got Trubisky coming off the bench. He's still good enough to beat this New England team. This New England team's not that great. They're playing out. They really have nothing to play for, so they need to lose this game.
They actually do. Keep their number one seed.
Keep that number one pick, so somebody will trade up for them and they can get better draft picks.
But with that being said, I mean,
they're still an NFL team. They're still men. They'll be fighting for it. But I like Buffalo to ultimately win this game.
So I'm going on the opposite end with you, Bobby, on this one. I got the Patriots at 2.5-point dogs at home. And for me, I like that being 2.5-point dogs at home because at the end of the day, like when you're talking about coaches and you're talking about players, they can't think like an organization at the top. So they're not thinking about draft picks because they're like, fuck those picks. We don't know if this player is going to come in and be able to produce for us. Even if they do get the number one pick, as many busts have happened in NFL history. All these guys have been in locker rooms and know how hard it is to actually make it in the NFL and stay in the NFL and thrive in the NFL. Those guys are working for their jobs right now. They're playing for their tape. This is still an audition.
And bonus money, too.
Yeah, bonus money. And this speaks volumes to a lot of organizations and teams when you say, okay, you had nothing to play for in Week 18. How hard? This dude was still playing his ass off. If your team's not going to bring you back, there's somebody else you're auditioning for at that point. So I like the Patriots actually to pull this one off, win the game. And I like the under at 38.5 in an ugly, ugly game.
Yeah, I like the under in this one.
Because, especially when they're talking about the weather that we have coming in, it's going to be bad in New England. So, I like the under on that one. All right, next up we got the Giants at the Eagles. The Giants who came off their victory against the...
yes, they do. Yeah. And the Eagles, do they have seeding to play for here?
No, they're locked up in number 2. A.J. Brown already said he stopped playing. Jalen Hurts definitely isn't going to play coming off the concussion. So they're the number 2 seed there. They got nothing to play for.
They're running Pickett back out
there. Yeah, if Pickett can play, because Pickett got knocked out in that game. He got knocked out last week too, so we'll see. I mean, there's really not going to be a whole lot. I doubt Saquon Barkley plays. I just really he doesn't care about that Eric Dickerson rushing record because right now is it even a rushing record? Because Eric Dickerson did it in 16 games,
right?
So if Saquon does it in 17 games, is he really the rushing champ? No, he's not. So and he's like 100 yards behind. So I don't see him playing that much. There's no way he's going to play that much to get. Unless he ripped off an 80-yard run at the beginning of the game.
I think the Giants win this game.
I do too.
Actually, I'm with you. Give me the over 37.5 though.
37.5.
Yeah, I've got 37.5.
So I had 43.5.
Really?
And unless I read that wrong. I might have read that wrong. So I'll have to look at that again because I thought
the Giants getting 2.5 points, so I'll take those 2.5 points.
I like the under in this game.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the under, but I'll have to go back and look at that over and sort of check wise because I have 43.5 in the next game, and I might have misread that when I looked at that because there's no way we had that big a disparity between our over under score.
Let me double check mine real quick.
I'm pretty sure you're right. I was going through this shit fast. All right, so the next up we got the Saints at the Buccaneers. All right, the Saints have been god-awful. God-awful.
They've been terrible, and the Buccaneers, man, that offense is humming.
Yeah, they're humming, and they got to keep going. They want to stay hot and keep themselves going into playoff contention.
Yeah, 37.
Yeah, 37. So I'm sure I'm probably like 38.5 or 38, one in that range there. So either way, I'll take the under regardless. I'll take the under. All right, so I like the Saints and the Buccaneers. I actually like the Buccaneers. It's 13.5. I don't usually like to do these big spreads like this, but the Saints have shown me no life between Spencer Rattler and Jack Horner, whatever the hell his name is. Clint Horner, I think is his name. Regardless of either one of those quarterbacks they play, I just don't see a lot of fight.
Miller's not doing anything.
Yeah, he's not doing a damn thing. He's not doing a damn thing at all. So I like the Buccaneers to win this game in a blowout fashion. I like the over at 43.5 more because of the Bucs production over what the Saints do.
All right. Well, I'll take the 13.5 just because it's 13.5.
Yeah.
Week 18, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Week 18, who fucking knows? All right, so we got the Chiefs at the Broncos. Here. All right, so we got the
interesting game here because the Broncos have to have this one.
The Broncos have to have
this. They win this, they're in.
Carson Wentz is the quarterback. For the Chiefs going in this game, yeah, and they're going to probably have most of their starters are going to be sitting. Right. Because I know Chris Jones was having battling injuries. So.
They're getting 10.5 points. The Chiefs are.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've been able to say that?
You haven't been able to say that in a long time. 10.5. I mean, shit. And when I saw that, I was like, Jesus, that's a big spread. But so for me, I like the Chiefs to cover that 10.5. Yep. Like somehow, some way, they're going to cover that 10.5. But I think the Broncos will still pull out the victory and unfortunately disappoint the Bengals and not let them get into the playoffs.
Yep.
And then if they somehow lose this, that would be like catastrophic for the Broncos because I mean Carson.
Yeah, that would be terrible because you had the chance to lock it up for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one to bounce back for. I mean, it really would. But I like the under at 39.5. I think if the Broncos are going to pull this off, it's got to be in ugly fashion. They're going to win it at 39.5.
All right, we're same, but I like the over. Give me the over.
All right, so next up we got the Chargers at the Raiders. So the Chargers are probably actually going to end up playing this game because a lot of the players on the team said it. Like I know that Derwin James was quoted as saying 11 wins is a lot better than 10 wins.
Right.
And so they don't want to lose to these Raiders going into the playoffs having that bad taste in their mouth. So I feel like the Chargers are going to pound them, kick ass. They have a 4.5. They're 4.5 point favorites. I think it's going to be a smooth fucking ass kicking. 41.5 points is the over under. I like the over for this one.
Oh, you like the over?
Yes, I like the only because. Raiders defense, we'll see how it goes back and forth. Okay. I can see it being a slugfest. J.K. Dobbins is back. And
the Chargers put up 40 last week. So.
And J.K. Dobbins is back. Right. Like, that opens up their offense a whole lot. To have his explosivity back there in the backfield.
Okay, I like the Chargers to cover the 5 point. I've got 5 here. Okay. I cover that 5, but give me the under, ultimately.
All right, so the next up we got the Seahawks at the Rams. Who do you like in this one, Bobby?
I think the Rams are probably sitting a bunch of people. They can't change their position at all. I mean, because the Buccaneers can't catch them as far as position goes. They're locked in at 4.
Right.
If they win the division.
Yeah.
Because the Falcons still have something to play for.
Yeah, and I think the Seahawks they obviously can't come back and win the division.
No, so, they cannot. They cannot. But I like the Seahawks to win this game. But give me the 6.5 points for the Rams. I think if the Seahawks do win, it's still by a field goal, 6 points.
I'm with you on the Rams actually covering this game, but I actually want to get the Rams to actually win it. Right. I feel like the Seahawks may have packed it in on this season, at this point. I mean, because Geno is a little hurt, as far as like where he's at right now in the season.
He's got incentives for this weekend.
He's got some incentives. I'm sure.
He's got some incentives.
Yeah, but I still think I'm like somehow, some way the Rams are going to pull this one out. I like the over at 38.5. I just feel like the over under was a little low on that one.
I like the under in this one.
You like the under?
A division game. I'm looking to like 19, 17.
I know the Rams haven't been put up a lot of points even with their starters in last week. I mean, they only won 13-9 last week, so I mean, it wasn't a big blowout by any stretch of the imagination. All right, so next up we got the Dolphins at the disappointing Jets. What a horrible season with Aaron Rodgers and those Jets.
But Miami still has something to play for here.
Yes, they do.
But on the other hand, it's going to be under 40 degrees.
Yes, and they don't have very good outcome.
They just don't.
And also, I think Snoop Huntley is going to be the one starting still again because Tua's out with that hip injury again. Yeah, with that hip injury again.
I actually like the Jets to win this final game of the season. I know they've checked out, but man, it's going to be cold, and Miami's just not going to be able to do it.
They're typically not. We talked about this last week. They're not a tough team. They really don't have any physicality to them, so that's why they have a hard time when it gets to be cold weather. But with that being said, I said, fuck those Jets. They fucked me way too many times, so too many picks and too many parlays, so I can't go with them anymore, especially the last week of the season. Sorry, I've written you off. I'm going Dolphins to win the game. They're still favored, and then I like the under at 39.5.
I like the under as well.
Yeah. All right, so next up we got the 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. 49ers at a disappointing 49ers season.
Purdy will be out for the season because he tweaked his elbow.
UCL surgery that he had 2 years ago when he got hurt in the playoffs, got re-aggravated again, so we don't know. And it didn't look good when he was when he tried to throw that ball. I mean, that's why I knew I had it won, Dave. That's why I knew I had it won. When I saw that helmet off and he threw that ball, he took 2 throws at it and he shook his head. Nope. I said, oh, yes, thank God. Woo, but with that being said, I actually like the Niners to cover the 4.5 points that their dogs at. Okay. Because you got Josh Dobbs, and Josh Dobbs is a serviceable quarterback. He was actually there in Arizona last year as a starting quarterback before he got traded to the Vikings. But I like the Cardinals to win this game at home.
Yes.
And I like the over at 42.5.
All right. You like the over and the cover on the 49ers. I like Arizona to actually beat the 49ers by the 4 points. Give me the under and the win. Yes.
Okay. All right. So the last game, this is
the game of the week, right?
This is the game. This is the only game that really, really has major implications all week long. And that's the Vikings at the Lions. Both teams are sitting at 14-2.
Yep.
Hats off to the Lions for playing their ass off and getting that victory against the 49ers because they really didn't have to. It really didn't mean anything. But shout out to Dan Campbell for saying, we're playing football. We're here to play football. We're here to win.
That's a hell of a press conference.
That's why again, coaching matters. Your culture and your organization matters. The tone that's set. Did you hear what Shane Steichen said? And so when they talk about the Colts and the whole controversy about how the Colts players weren't using professionalism as being pro football players, well, he actually made the statement that not everybody's going to be on time all the time.
Oh, I did see that.
Where the fuck do you do that at? In what NFL do you ever fucking do that at?
I guess the Indianapolis Colts.
There is in college you can't get away with that shit. Right. So you start letting motherfuckers stroll in when they feel like it, 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late. That's where you get that loser shit, like losing to the Giants and different stuff like that. So shout out to Dan Campbell for having a standard that he's holding his organization to, executing that standard, executing his principles.
That offense is humming.
Even the defense, the grind and grit that they're playing with, to have that many new pieces in there.
New pieces and all the injuries across the whole team. It's kind of amazing what they've done.
This will be a huge win for the Lions if they win, because for them to get the bye and get some of those defensive players back, because they say there's a chance that if the closer they get to the Super Bowl, Aiden Hutchinson can possibly get back.
I like the Lions in this game. I just don't think Minnesota's they're going to do Minnesota things this weekend.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Everybody's pumping them up. Well,
they love Sam Darnold, brother. That's going to be an interesting conversation in the offseason of what they do with Sam Darnold.
Does he get that massive?
Well, you saw how they treated him in the locker room after that victory, man.
Yep.
They carried that motherfucker off like Rudy. That shit was fucking crazy. So, again, the locker room has spoken, and that's our quarterback.
But ultimately, I just think the Lions dig deep again one more week and get it done, win that division, just so they can, Dan Campbell will come out and Crone told you, I told you so.
You know what? I got to go off. Contrary to my past beliefs in the Vikings and their organization, I'm watching something different with this team right now.
No, they look good.
I am. I'm watching something different with this team right now, just the way they're playing, their grit. I love the way their defense is playing. They have enough offensive firepower in order to keep up with the Lions, as long as their defense is executing properly. I like the Vikings actually to go into Detroit and win this game and get that number 1 seed. I really do. And then I like the under at 56.5.
I like the under. I just think that's a lot of points for a game of this magnitude.
It's a lot of points, but
don't see it being a blowout like that.
No, I see it being I can see it going back and forth, but you're talking like 35-30 in order to or 30-28.
I'm thinking like 28-21, 28-24, something like that.
Yeah, I see it more being a close battle like that, go back and forth action there, because you still got Detroit is pretty beat up as far as even though they're losing Montgomery and so on. So we'll see what happens, brother. But we got a playoff action coming.
Yes, we do. It's coming. It's coming quick.
All right. So that's the slate for Week 18. It's been a fun ride this season, and we're going into playoff time, baby. We're going to playoff time where I need to get off the snide because I've been the book has been kicking my ass the last 6 weeks.
Yes, it has.
Bad beats the last 6 weeks. Bad beats. But you know what? That's here nor there. Playoff time is here. We're going to keep riding with this shit and get it going. Shout out to Director Dave for keeping us up on the 1s and 2s. Sorry about it. That's his team name. Sorry about it. Yeah, all right. And then shout out to True on the track for blessing us with those beats. Bobby Light, it's been a wild ride for us, brother.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we relinquished that championship, but it stayed home in that BetsAndBuds family.
I had it for 3 seasons.
Unprecedented, but it's come home.
Look at that. Look at the names on there.
It has come home. But we're ready for playoff with Super Wild Card Weekend. More than college football playoff action. The pitcher will be there and a lot more perspective after that point. I'm Jason Smoking Token.
I'm Bobby Light.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.